Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account and says, my boyfriend, 30 male, has a close female friend, 34 female, who blatantly dislikes me, 29 female, and makes no secret of it. I've reached a stage where it's her or me. How can I confront my boyfriend? I don't know if I'm being wildly unreasonable and jealous over this, so I need some outside opinions. I, 29 female, have been with my boyfriend 30 male for 3 years and we share an apartment. He has a female friend, Nell, 34 female, and they were friends for years before I came along. Had no issues with their closeness. I have male friends and knew I'd be a hypocrite to leap to judgments. But at this point I feel I'm justified in thinking the way I do about her. The first time I met her, it was extremely obvious Nell didn't like me. She came into the bar all excited to see my boyfriend, before noticing me. Her entire demeanor changed. She shook my hand and dug her nails into my skin, before ignoring me the rest of the night. She seemed upset at one point that I took the seat beside my boyfriend and quietly left halfway through the evening without saying goodbye, so it's safe to say my first impression of her wasn't good. But I try to reason with myself that not everyone gets along and I don't need to be friends with my boyfriend's friends. However, as time passed it became really clear Nell's attitude towards me wasn't improving. She had a way of openly mocking me in front of groups of people, making side comments or loudly joking about my voice or appearance. My boyfriend would stand there and say nothing, and after the fact when I asked him about it, he'd say he hadn't noticed. She'd also make a show of hugging him hello and goodbye and not me. She'd mix that kind of stuff in with smiles and basic politeness, so it was tough to articulate exactly what she had done. I felt very much like I was back in high school. From that point on, I basically decided I didn't need to have someone like that in my life, so just stopped going to things she was at. I haven't seen her in about a year. My boyfriend still sees her regularly and they text often. I'm now at the stage where I fully believe they've either dated in the past or have something going on now. I've tried gently bringing this up, but he denies they ever dated and makes me feel like I'm being jealous and bitter by asking. I end up suppressing those feelings before something brings them up again. I've reached the end of my tether with it. The final straw for me came the other day, when my boyfriend left his phone open and I saw a text exchange between the two. Nell had sent him a heart emoji. My boyfriend had written something about how he was thinking of her. I know I should have said something then and there, but I felt numb and decided to go to bed. I'm trying to work out how to handle this. Is it possible nothing's going on here? It's something I've tried arguing in my head, but then something else pops up that makes me doubt it. Maybe friends do just send hearts, and I'm making this up because I don't care for Nell. I don't want that to be the case. I'm basically at a point where I feel he either has to tell me the truth and restrict contact with Nell, or else I don't feel like I can maintain the relationship. I feel constantly disrespected, and I want something to change, but I don't know how to go about it. Any advice would be so welcomed. Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. It's clear that your boyfriend is playing dumb about Nell obviously being hostile towards you because, confronting it would mean choosing sides. And as we've seen in stories similar to this, he's not ready to pick you, which sounds like a really horrible thing to say, but it's the way it comes across in this story to me. And the heart emojis, I know friends that would send this kind of thing as a friendly way, but everything else combined with it, the thinking of you text, the territorial behavior, isn't just a coincidence. It's a pattern. And this is like a bit out there, but imagine in the future when you have big events, like if you decide to get married, for example, is he going to not invite her? Or is he going to choose to disrespect you again and invite her even though she clearly doesn't like you? I mean, 3 years of this nonsense is already too generous. But the first commenter says, to be honest, I don't think there is a point in giving him an ultimatum, as I don't think he would choose you, or if he did, he would resent you for it and make you feel even more crazy. He never noticed how Nell treats you. He never calls her out on it. When you point it out, he makes you feel like you're jealous and crazy, instead of working with you and implementing healthy boundaries. You have to repress your feelings about their relationship because of how he makes you feel whenever you try to bring it up. That is not a partner that will choose you, because he never has. He chooses Nell. Whenever Nell hurt your feelings, he chose to endorse her actions by not standing up for you. Whenever you point something out, he chose to protect Nell and makes you feel like you were jealous and bitter. He has always been in her corner, endorsing and enforcing her actions, even when she is hurting your feelings. I would personally skip the ultimatum and just leave. Another commenter says this, all of it. OP, it is best to start making an exit strategy and looking for a way to get out. Find a new place to live and move out and break up. He will never choose you. He's shown you constantly who he chooses. Any man who allows someone to treat their partner like that and then gaslights their partner isn't a man worth having. Also, go with your gut is never wrong. If it is telling you that there is something going on, believe it. Don't confront him, just leave. Save yourself the gaslighting and excuses and arguments and leave while he is out somewhere or at work. Block him and her and then leave a note stating that now he is free to be with the woman he really wants to be with. Opie says I'm sad, but I agree with his take. I doubt anything is going to change. Someone says fine. Fine they haven't dated, but have they hooked up? Opie says that's what I wonder. I'm aware they used to go out for drinks, just the two of them, before I was in the picture. I know that isn't immediately indicative of them hooking up, but my boyfriend ended up taking me to a bar he'd gone to with Nell, and it was romantic, fancy with dim lights and stuff, not a casual bar. You know, the more I articulate this rather than keep it bottled up, the more I think I've been stupid in not seeing it sooner. So it was about a week after this post that OP did come in with an update and said, first, I'd like to sincerely thank everyone for the kind comments. I didn't expect so many responses and I appreciate them all. I wanted to provide everyone with an update because a lot has happened. A few days ago, after a lot of tearful soul searching, I decided the best thing for me would be to walk away from the relationship. I sat my boyfriend down and talked to him about it. I explained that I always felt like the third wheel in my own relationship and that for my own happiness, I didn't want to be in a relationship that made me feel that way anymore. I gave examples to him that I did in my original post, such as a lack of boundaries with Nell and his disinterest in standing up for me whenever she mocked me. I also said my trust in him had been eroded to the point where I felt unsure of what I really was to him. I told him I still cared about him and wanted him to be happy, but that I wanted to be happy too. My boyfriend sat silently for a while before asking, "So, you're jealous of Nell?" I felt like he had barely processed anything I just said, and when I tried clarifying, he got defensive and told me he was allowed female friends. I could tell he wanted to turn it into an argument, and since my mind was already made up and I'd said what I wanted, I ended the conversation and he played a computer game and acted like I wasn't there as I packed my things and left. I've been staying with my best friend, who is amazing and always so supportive. We're actually looking into sharing a place officially. I burst into tears on her doorstep and we hugged it out, before having a movie night with pizza and some wine. It felt really therapeutic, like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. My family have been amazing too, rallying around and taking me out for little meals and stuff. I even got 1 or 2 sweet messages from my boyfriend's friends saying that they were sorry and that they fully understood my point of view, which is interesting. I imagined that would be the end of it. But the next morning I woke up to messages from a number I didn't know. It was Nell. I honestly didn't think she'd contact me. So to see walls and walls of text in my inbox was a shock. Let me run down some of the things that she said. She repeatedly insisted that she never bullied me and said she had no idea where that came from. She said I'd always seemed cold towards her, so tried to make little jokes to break the ice. Openly mocking someone is an interesting method, but I digress. Lastly, she told me I was making things up by suggesting she never had a thing with my ex. They were just friends. She finished with a passive-aggressive apology that I ruined my own relationship by being jealous and listening to the voices in my head. I didn't respond to her venom or try to get the last word. I know she wanted to repeat her tried and true method of hitting out at me and enjoying my reaction, so I didn't give her one. I've been focusing on other things to start building my self-esteem and happiness back. My ex has not tried to contact me since I left and I'm glad. Frankly, I think him and Nell are perfect for each other. I'm well and truly done with this, and I'm so excited for new things in my life. My friend and I are making arrangements to officially have a place together. I actually got promoted at work today. I feel like it was a little hug from the universe. In all, things are looking bright. So, to end things, I want to thank everyone again for the messages. I think hearing your opinions as well as getting all my thoughts out in a post are what really opened my eyes and allowed me to leave. I finally feel I'm making myself the priority. Feels pretty great. On the back of that post, a commenter says to OP, "You did the right thing by not responding to her. It was rather a creeper move for him to give her your phone number to message in the first place. Go out and do things that make you happy." OP says, "Yeah, the only way she would have got it is through him. My best friend even suggested they probably wrote those texts together. I feel like they both just wanted to turn it into a big argument and play the victim. So I'm glad I didn't pursue that with them. I don't care and just want to be happy. Thank you." Another commenter says literally the best thing you could do was let her twist in the wind after those texts. And you did it. Good for you. Those two deserve nothing from you. OP says thank you. Yep, I imagine her reeling that she didn't get a single word in response to her mountains of text. And the final commenter says, "I can't believe his only response was, 'So you're jealous of Nell.' Tells you everything you need to know by the way he reacted in that conversation." OP says that's so true. He proved my point without even realizing it. And the majority of their comments were saying good for OP for not responding to her in that situation, just let her sit there and seethe. But many people suggesting that, they probably did hook up in the past or something happened between them. And for me, it was the way he seemed to turn straight to Nell after this breakup as well. Obviously talked about it, got OP's number, then decided to send those messages. Ugh. Absolutely better off without them, OP. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Apprehensive Can 1008 and says, "Am I the arsehole for calling the cops on my neighbor and getting my sister in trouble?" Background: I, 40 female, am unmarried, no kids. My sister, 45 female, is married with 3 kids and bought a house about 3 to 4 years ago in a super nice suburb of town. It's a great area, lots of parks, trails with a really good school system. I found and bought a house in the same neighborhood. I loved it for the size of the yards, great for my dogs, love I can now walk or jog to all the trails, and the local lake. It is, however, very suburban, and most of the people here have families, making me a little bit of an outlier. I'm fine with that, I don't really care. I live in the house by myself. Neighbors have been nice, but most of them hang out with each other and have play dates with the kids. There are neighborhood barbecues that I have been to. So a week ago I'm watching TV at home around 9 PM, and all of a sudden my dog starts going crazy. My doorbell rings multiple times and then rapid knocking. I jump off my couch, look at my Ring doorbell, and it's a stranger, male, knocking on my door. I have no idea who he is, and he just keeps banging on my door. My dogs are freaking out, so I called the cops. He goes away after about 5 to 7 minutes. The cops show up about 20 minutes later. I showed them the video and they told me they know who it is, wouldn't tell me, and then left. The next day, I get a phone call from my sister. She's super pissed that I called the cops on Dave, and how could I do that in this community? I'm confused. Who is Dave? Oh, it's apparently the local neighborhood watch guy and school teacher, and he thought I was driving too fast down the street and wanted to talk with me. I was flabbergasted. 1, there's no way to drive fast in this neighborhood. There are stop signs everywhere, cops everywhere. They have their own police force, and there are speed bumps every 2 blocks. 2, why didn't he call, text, or email before knocking on the door at 9 PM on anyone's house, much less a single woman at home? Sister said my reaction was totally over the top, and you don't live in the hood anymore. People visit other people. I stand by my rights to be safe and not get harassed by the neighbor. Sister is pissed because there was no danger whatsoever, and apparently this was the discussion at the recent PTA meeting. And since I wasn't there, why would I go to a PTA meeting? She was charged with defending me, and now she looks bad by association. She also brought up that I walk my dogs without a bra on all the time, and that's just not good. What the fuck? She wants me to reach out to Dave and apologize and say that I'm absolutely sorry for calling the cops and driving fast. She told me that I needed to play nice with the neighbors unless I wanted to be moving in a year. Maybe I did overreact, but I am just so annoyed that I don't want to do anything related to that, and maybe that makes me the arsehole. Thoughts? But Tater Sprout says not the arsehole. What Dave did was highly inappropriate, and you being discussed at a PTA meeting was also inappropriate. Is this an HOA? Opie says, actually no, there's no HOA. This is partially why I brought here. The PTA meetings apparently have just slowly become a neighborhood meeting because everyone is there, I guess. Per my sister. There are a few other people here that don't have kids or aren't married, but I don't know what they do or care. A deleted user says not the arsehole. I get a sign from my door that said, fuck off and get a life, Dave. Also, the no bra thing is creepy as hell, so I would get the sleaziest dog walking outfit I could find. I advise you to not drink the Kool-Aid at the neighborhood's barbecues. You might turn mental like these busybodies. Opie says the more I think about it, the more I think it's my sister talking when she's talking about the dog walking bra thing. She said, and by the way, walking your dog without a bra on is just weird and needs addressing. I don't know, she's more of a prude than she knows. Half-Life says, not the arsehole. Dave needs to keep his nose out of people's business and learn to knock politely. Busybodies are the worst. I'd move out of Stepford if I were you. The small town mentality is toxic. I will walk my dog braless today in your honor. Opie says, go braless. Honestly, walking a dog braless wasn't even something that crossed my mind. I walked them early in the morning in my PJs with a cup of coffee in my hand. Half-Life replies again saying, they need something to talk about and you're the only unordinary element in their very ordinary world. Tell them to start swinging, to kill the boredom already and leave you the fuck out of their discussions. Interesting how your sister is on their side. Did she always forgo loyalty just to fit in with new friends? Opie says she's always been something. Half the reason I moved here is because she loves it here. She's constantly talked about how great the neighborhood was, how nice the parks were, how great it was to be able to just walk everywhere, and the local bakery is super nice, etc. So this is her fault that her pig-headed little sister is ruining her reputation. Lol. Honestly, I feel like I should just go to the next PTA meeting to see if it is as big of a deal as she's saying it is. She sometimes blows things out of proportion. People were questioning why OP didn't look on the Ring camera before calling the police, and OP says, honestly, I didn't even think to do so. I rarely use the Ring thing to do much more than watch my mailman drop off the mail. Literally, my dog started barking. I got up off the couch and then the doorbell rang in rapid succession. I'm trying to grab my phone to see and grab the dogs. Then bang, 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 bang on my door. I saw it's someone I didn't know banging on my door, so I just ran upstairs and called the cops. So it was a month after this post that OP came in again and said, update, I think I'm doing this right. I wanted to update people because I got a few DMs. Initially, I just wanted it to blow over. I hate confrontation and I like being left alone, so I said whatever. I then made acquaintances with my neighbors next door, the gardeners. They are empty nesters. That's what happens when you have whoopsie kids at 21. My neighbor, and are very nice. They told me that the PTA meeting is nothing more than a reason for a bunch of people to get together for food and beer, and if you really had something to talk about, you go to the real school board meeting. They told me when and where, and I went. Lo and behold, it's like a neighborhood barbecue. They all gather at someone's house and order pizza and bring beer, and maybe a couple of pies and desserts. Not everyone comes, really just the neighbors in the area, and then it rotates. I had a warm welcome, and no one really talked about school or kids stuff. My sister was there, but she avoided me. I ended up talking to a couple of people and gently, aka very indirectly, brought up Dave, and everyone here was right. Everyone knows Dave. The general consensus is he's a busybody, has reported half the neighborhood to, I don't even know. Nothing ever comes of it, and he's kind of a nuisance. He does have a loyal group of neighbors that defend him, but mostly just stay clear of him. I ended up telling my neighbor about what happened, and she laughed, saying that she would have done the same, and her husband chimed in. Though if you open the door for Dave, the only thing to fear is that you'll be talked to death. So all in all, no one seemed to care about what happened, and honestly, no one even seemed to know. So I went over to my sister's, since she's the only one that seems to be making this into a big deal. Long story short, she is. She doesn't like that I moved here. That's really it. She just really didn't think would ever move to the suburbs, and when I did, she really didn't want to be lumped together with me. We got into a kind of fight over it. Also, she wanted to run for school board, and Dave sits on the school board. So he was pissed that I called the cops, and she felt like I was getting her in trouble. We currently aren't talking. Someone in the comments below this said I'd be putting a bra on my dog and walk around the neighborhood right past the sister's house. Another interesting comment below this one says, surprisingly, no one seems to realize the fact that if the local cops know who someone is and went to the effort to track down and have a talk with said someone over knocking on a door, then he's not just a busybody, but a serial harasser, and this isn't the first time someone has reported it. Suburb sounds like it could do with better quality people on its school board. Oh, busybodies, man. It just brought me back to the old neighborhood. As I always tell you folks, where I used to live, council estate, there was always some drama going on. Pretty much every other day, something would be going on, right? But across the road from us, there was a more wealthier kind of houses or privately owned, all this kind of thing. Nothing against them at all. It was all lovely to us and we treated them with respect. But there was one neighbor who was a right nosy bastard, a bit like me really. Bless her. Let's call her Barbara. And you know, whenever there was some drama going on over our side, she'd be at her window, you know, curtain twitching, thinking no one can see her. And you can guarantee about half hour after this ended, she'd come across and start like usually knocking on my parents' door. Like you could see her coming up the pathway and you're like, oh no, it's Barbara. She'd knock on the door and you go, Mum, Barbara's at the door. And you could hear my mum under her breath like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then you just sit on the top of the stairs, listen to them having a conversation. Barbara dancing around trying to get information out of my mum, but indirectly without being obvious. And my mum just bluntly goes, oh, did you see what was going on earlier? And then she's like, oh yeah, what's going on? Just to get rid of her quickly. She was lovely, but sometimes holy moly. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, I see a lot of the same faces or names every day in the comments and just getting involved, and it's absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows.